För musiken var tyst en stund. Nu ser vad det här är för något. Konstigt något. God morgon, god morgon. Försvann ljudet. Nu ser här. Jag drog ner det till 0. Ja, just det. Upp med ljudet igen. Så. God morgon, Spyware. Nu har jag äntligen vaknat. Settings är väl samma som innan? Nej, inte riktigt. Ser väl okej ut. CTS-bönan. Läget. Jaha, är det ingen voice? Hey! I seen an annoying girl running towards me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor, and good friend since we were children. You're the kind of friend you never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. Used to walk to school together. Du skulle vilja sova, men annars är det okej. Ja. Kanske somnar jag snart. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but it started around high school. She would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. Run away! Det var bättre om någon läste det för mig. Yep. I just saw an idol in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up with me. I overslept again. But I caught you this time. Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. You say that like you were thinking about ignoring me. That's mean. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think we're a couple or something. Fine, fine. But you did wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean even if you want to. Kanske inte. Whatever you say. Cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the street become increasingly speckled with other students making the daily commute. By the way, have you decided on a club to join yet? Club? Told you already, I'm really not interested in joining any clubs. I haven't been looking either. That's not true. You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? Gjorde jag? När sa jag det? Sure, it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. Likes to worry a little too much about me, but I'm perfectly content just getting on by the... On average, while spending my free time on games and anime. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Happiness is really important to me, you know, and I know you're happy now. But I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. What's a NEET? You trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I'll look at a few clubs if it make you happy. No promise, though. Will you at least promise me you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Yay! Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit. Even if she does exaggerate everything inside of her head. The school day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Sayori wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Hello! Must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize that I'm the only one left in the classroom. I thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom, but I saw you just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed. You don't need to wait up for me if it's going to make you late for your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement. I thought so. You know, no white. Well, that you could come to my club. Yeah? There's no way I'm going to your club. Meanie. She's the vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. She was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club. She inherited the title vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please. Why do you care so much anyway? Well, kinda told the club yesterday I would bring in a new member. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. Don't make promises you can't keep. I can't tell if Sayori is really that much of an airhead or if she's so cunning as to have planned all of this out. Fine. I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Yes, let's go. And thus, today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. I dejectedly follow Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Everyone, the new member is here. I told you, don't call me a new member. I glance around the room. Girl 1. Welcome to the literature club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Sayori always says nice things about you. Seriously, you brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Ah, CTS, what a nice surprise. Welcome to the club. All words escape me in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry. Natsuki. The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes her look like a first-year student. She's also the one who made cupcakes. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Sayori says that quietly into my ear and then turns back towards the others. Anyways, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. Don't say things like that. Comparably more mature and timid seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. Oh, well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you already know Monica, is that right? That is right. Great to see you again, CTS. Monica smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talk, but we were in the same class last year. Monica was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, and athletic. Basically completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... Come sit down, CTS. We made room for you at the table so you can sit next to me or Monica. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. So sorry. got a little excited. Then how about I make some tea as well? Så vi läser för bok då. Few desks arranged. It's been widened so that there is one space next to Monica. And Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner when Natsuki grabs a wrap tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Whoa. Natsuki lifts the foil of the tray to reveal a dozen white fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolates we used to make ears. So cute! I had no idea you were so good at baking. Well, you know, now you know. Just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs one first, then Monica. I follow. It's delicious! Sayori talks with a mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Why are you thanking me? It's not like I... Haven't I heard this somewhere before? Made them for you or anything? I thought you technically did, Sayori said. Well, maybe. But not for... You know, you dummy. Alright. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. Carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? Guess. Jag har inte läst en bok hela mitt liv. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri is just trying to impress you. That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know? I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but at least I enjoy tea. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. So what made you consider the literature club? Cupcakes. I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Sayori. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori seemed really happy here, so... That's okay, don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year? Oh, well, you know. To be honest, I can't stand all of the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monica really is a great leader. Yuri nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. We could put it that way. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new. Especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard and convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. but it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that we all can really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah. We'll do our best. You know it. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have worked really hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why they were also delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. So, CTS, what kind of things would you like to read? Well, considering how little I've read this past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga? I muttered quietly to myself, half joking. Suki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of a teacup with a finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes lights up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Anyways, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. I read a horror book once. I desperately grasp something I can relate to at a minimal level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. For someone as gentle as you? Guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think, or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. Ugh, I hate horror. Oh, why is that? Well, Natsuki's eye darts over to me for a split second. Never mind. That's right. You usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud and Give That Back. Fine. Your cupcakes, your poems, everything you do is just as cute as you are. Sayori sidles up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute. Natsuki, you write your own poems? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. No! Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them? Not a very confident writer yet. I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities, and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Har de inte haft den här diskussionen innan? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. I guess it's the same for Yuri. Aw, I wanted to read everyone's poems. We all sit in silence for a moment. Okay, I have an idea, everyone. Natsuki and Yuri looks quizzically at Monica. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Then, next time we meet, we'll share them with each other. Det här är en ljuseffekt, eller har hon typ de längsta naglarna jag någonsin sett. That way, everyone is even. Yeah, let's do it! Plus, now that we have a new member, I think it will help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, CTS? Monica smiles warmly at me once again. Hold on, there's still one problem. What is that? Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining the club, I'd like to come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Sayori may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and I lose my train of thought. All four girls stares back at me with dejected eyes. But I'm sorry, I thought... CTS? You all... I'm defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girl's eyes lights up. Yes, so happy. Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey, you really did scare me for a moment. If you really came just for the cupcakes, I would be super pissed. Well, then that makes it official. Welcome to the literature club. Thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone, I think with that we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment? Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share. Monica looks over at me once more. CTS, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up the food. Hey CTS, since you're already here, do you want us to walk home together? That's right. Sayori and I never walk home together anymore because she always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! Monica! Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Har de möten varje dag? Det är lite ofta. Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. I just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Jag vet inte ens vem som är min favorit. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. Okay. Yuri gillar ju fantasy, så vi kör på fantasy då. Clouds flee, games alone. After image? What the heck is that? After image? Okay. After image is an image that continues to appear in the eyes after a period of exposure to the original image. Aldrig hört talas om. Boop. Climax. Graveyard skirt misfortune. Det är ingenting som har direkt fantasy-sättning här, va? Börjar med games då, för det här kan vi. Cry kitty, sweet disoriented, passion happiness, smile unstable, email papa. Game passion. Man får inte se vad man har valt, eller? Nej, okej. Okay. Sugar together, waterfall adventure, peaceful question. Eller history, vad är history? Aha. Okay. Milk. Milk. Jag gillar mjölk. Boop. Skulle jag ta ett boop? Nibble family, depression, cheeks, amazing, effulgent, sticky, hop, philosophy, fireworks. Fireworks. Marshmallow, shiny rose, bliss, extraordinary, rainbow, childhood rain cloud, wrathfesta. Uncanny crimson, love hopeless. Okay. Fick en achievement för någonting. Sadness, shopping, nightgown, summer, anger, disarray. Jag gillar ordet nightgown. Jag vet inte om det passar med resten jag har valt. Vi tar det, det är ett bra ord. Vitality, lust, music, atone, vanilla, valentine, headphones, sunny, lollipop, fickle. 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 Pink, incongruent? Whatever. Captive, skipping, play, memories, death, vivacious, explode, pain. Play passar ju bra med något annat vi har valt. Jump, loud, unrestrained embrace, inferno, despise, lucky, romance, joy, hair. Inferno också ett bra ord. Whistle, judgment, heaven sent, comfort, fun, dream, vibrant, eternity, universe, fluffy, fluffy. Sparkle, daydream, dazzle, existence, cage, uncontrollable, jumpy, wonderful, intellectual, swimsuit. Får man välja båda? Intellectual, swimsuit. Intelligent, baddräkt. Daydream, passar väl till det mesta. Warm treasure, cute sensation, empty vivid pleasure, contamination, dark heart. Contamination, vi behöver lite långa ord också. Melancholy, tenacious, tenacious, dance, scars, essence, desire, sing silly, entropy, electricity. Destiny, suicide, mouse, extreme, bouncy, landscape, laugh, precious, flying, misery. Extreme passar till det mesta. 5 ord kvar. Feather Friends, kawaii, aura. Det är kawaii igen. Det är Eskimo Cowboy har med det i sin en av sina låtar, men jag har ingen aning om vad det betyder. Aura, journey, grief, bunny, color, blanket, prayer. Lazy whisper, strawberry meager, vacation hope. Aldrig någonsin. Paraphay analysis, ambient and broken. Whisper. Lipstick design, flower candy, time defeat, marriage beauty, insight infinite. Imagination, Doki, sunset, bed, starscape, tragedy, frightening, unending, poof. Infallible variants, shame, awesome, massacre. Incapable, heartbeat, pout, unrequited, and raindrops. Massacre. Variants. Horror, spinning, agonizing peace. Horror, spinning an agonizing peace. Promise in the melody with a special kiss. Breathe. Det var ju små dikter i sig det där ju. Jaha, det är redan dag 2. Hej hej. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Now don't worry. It might be a little strange, but at least I keep my word. Oh, back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Börjar få något i näsan här. Thanks for keeping your promise. I hope it's not too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Sarah told me you didn't even want to join clubs this year. And last year too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. But if you don't take it seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps a manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Alla slutet om True Clarty 999. Nice. Jag ska se om jag kan sätta mig ner i helgen och hitta ett slut till. Manga is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry guys, CTS always gives his best as long as he's having fun. He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy it's distracting. And you almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two really are good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. How come? You and CTS can be good friends too. As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation you just put me into. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know? Wait, Sayori? Me? Hur lång tid tog det, Spyware? Och hitta alla... Det är 3 slut. Och true, eller hur var det? Jag ska se den här kartan framför mig. Jag tror det är 3. Whatever. What is it? Never mind. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. Sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue the situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So a nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. That's so. Yeah, I won't make a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright, well, here. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it if you wanted. How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I like despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone is settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the group club. That don't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expressions, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki's rummaging in the closet. Tre dåliga slut, var ett ger mer story än de andra och credits. Ett bättre slut som måste klaras för true. Och så true. Det var ett av de dåliga jag fick när jag spelade, va? Borde de varit, det är väl de som är lättast att få tag på. I PC-versionen är det enkelt att göra fler, man kan hoppa hur man vill. Skönt. Behöver inte spela hela spelet 4 gånger till. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse at the cover of her book. Looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Ah. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meets for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in the book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it, not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. I see. En del idle 13 timmar. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts picking up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about, anyway? Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous looking eye symbol on the front. Alright. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with a long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her lives get really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships, and her life starts to fall apart. That's kinda dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Yuri gently giggles all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, CTS? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy these kind of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I forgot Yuri is into these things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kind of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals, or their own philosophy that they believe in. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they made out to be the naive ones for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plan. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. Sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then, but I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like book and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange, and please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. What do you say? Just a moment ago you said we were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book I put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah, are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. That's Sorry, it's not that I don't want you to, it's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri meant about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comfortable. Yuri's in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry, I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Välkommen Fletcher, det går bra. Läget? Yeah, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against yours and then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. Kan de inte bara lägga den på bänken? Varför måste de hålla i den? I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. Probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kinda reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways. But she also second guesses all of the things that she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or something, but you're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remains silent for a moment. But CTS, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that. Wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you're self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kinda cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri exhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? A little kinda down. I'm sorry if I haven't been... I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright, I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters in your own time. Alright, I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book and then slip it back into my bag. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait. Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to first? Ja, nu har vi ju läst med Yuri så vi väljer någon av de andra. Monica, ledaren för gruppen, kan det vara bra att prata med. I should start with Monica. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem, and I want her to know I'm putting in effort. So yeah. Hi CTS, having a good time so far? Yeah. Since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like activities, things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm settled in. Haha, don't worry. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But that is the sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. I hand Monica my poem. Great job, CTS. I was going, oh, in my head while reading it. It's metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easier for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. Borde jag komma ihåg det här? Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. Very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learning by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. Could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That is okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a bit biased towards their own kind of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Hole in a wall. It couldn't have been me. See, the direction the spackle protrudes. A noisy neighbor? An angry boyfriend? I'll never know. I wasn't home. Peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retinas, already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he, on the other side, was looking in. So what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not the right person to ask for feedback. Well, it's okay. The kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What's the inspiration behind this one? Epiphany? Anyway, here is Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Natsuki, nu är det din tur. Well, that's about what I expected from someone like you. That's a little blunt. Well, excuse me. It's not like I said it was bad. It just didn't evoke any emotions. So basically, it's not cute enough for your tastes. Do you want to get smacked? I'll pass. Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you'll like it. Eagles can fly. Monkeys can climb. Crickets can leap. Horses can race. Owls can seek. Cheetahs can run. Eagles can fly. People can try. But that's about it. Yeah. Told you I wasn't going to like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be disheartening. So I decided to write about it. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps brings out the feeling in the last line. That's what it meant to be a pro. Glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? I guess not. I decided to humor her with the last comment. I don't really care how old anyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take it away from her. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? Huh? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. I really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What I'm getting so nervous for. Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. That's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Oh, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kinda learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in the new writer is that they try to make their style deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds a train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. Might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. Shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. Whoa. Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminates beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calming, breathing air of the present but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. So I have such a terrible handwriting. I wasn't thinking that at all, but it took you a long time to read. I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest, since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Uh-huh. Actually, the story isn't about ghosts at all. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poems often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. Impressive. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, CTS. Me too. Ja, vad är en kvar då? This is a good poem. Am I the kind of guy who would be writing poems in his spare time? I guess right, but that's why it impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid that you wouldn't do it seriously, or that you wouldn't write one at all. I'm happy just that you wrote one. It reminds me of how you're really a part of the club now. I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See? It's like I said before, CTS, deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people, that's something that only really good people do. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined, knowing how much this meant to her and all. I'm gonna make sure you have a lot of fun here, okay? That'll be my way of thanking you. Alright, I'm going to hold you to that then. Dear Sunshine. Får jag de här dikterna på grund av de orden jag valde eller? Oh, whatever. The way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Jag gillar slutet på dem. Gissa så, varken spelat eller sett förut, bara hört massor om det. Samma här. Jag var bara tvungen att prova den när jag hörde att det skulle vara skräckspel, för det ser det ju verkligen inte ut så. Tack för hosten, Fletcher. Jag missar den. Varför dyker den inte upp i Twitch egna grej? Whatever. This is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this? No. A little bit. You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. But at least that makes me feel a little better about myself. Don't be mean, I still tried my best. Oh, I didn't mean to say it was a bad poem. It came out nice, or how should I put it? It sounds just like you. Especially that last line. I made eggs and toast. Even though you were late to school? It's bad to skip breakfast. I get all cranky. Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyways, thanks for showing me. Monica's the best. Yeah? But next time I won't forget. And I'm gonna write the best poem ever. Phew. glance around the room. It was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no ways my poem can stand up to theirs. It's a literature club after all. Guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sayori and Monika are happily chatting. My eyes lands on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As I read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Hey, did you say something? Nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Yours is cute. Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple of suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and CTS too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And CTS liked my poem too, you know? He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh. I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. That's not what I, Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that CTS appreciates my advice more than he appreciates yours. Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No, if I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as CTS started showing up. Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. I don't like fighting, guys. Suddenly, both girls turned towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. She's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. If she could get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Help me explain that to her. Wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right? How did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I know anything about writing. But whoever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. Hur är jag när jag skriver dikter? Baserat på det så får jag hålla med Yuri. på det. You write that I like your poem. See? Wait, that's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different. That's not what happened at all. You wouldn't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Hey? You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. Well, that's... But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute. I see. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry. But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well, and if you just told her how you felt, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did. It was her then. Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too? Natsuki clenched her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped, at this point being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up feeling bad for her. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head. Sayori, she doesn't need to. You know what? I'm going to do that. It will spare me from having to look at all your faces right now. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem up from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumbles up the poem with her hand and throws it in the trash. Natsuki! She really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair. Everything's alright? I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri, how could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you. Well, alright, I believe you. Thanks, CTS, you're too kind. I'm thankful to have you as a part of this club now. That one thing that Natsuki said about, I would never do anything so shameful, so... What thing did Natsuki say? Well, never mind that. I'm going to make some tea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yeah. Time to leave. How did you feel about sharing poems? Lots of fun? Was worth it? Alright. I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about with everyone. Awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing for tomorrow. Poems would turn out even better. I don't think so. I think to myself, I did learn a little more about the kinds of poems everyone likes, but any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. Let's go. About what happened earlier, between Yuri and Natsuki, does that kind of thing happen often? No. That's really the first time I've seen a fight like that. I promise they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you? No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they make good friends with you. It's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club. But I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me happiest. And I think everyone really likes it too. Every day is going to be so much fun. It looks like Sayori still hasn't caught on to the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? We'll just have to see what the future holds. I said that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes. Okay. Va, mer poems. Jag måste savea här med, tror jag. Så jag börjar tänka. Essence, heaven sent, clumsy, breathe, cry, fantasy, melody, bed, broken sugar. Måste vi prova den här gången då? Korta ord. Bara långa ord. Bara ord jag inte vet vad de betyder. Jag vill bara ta... Vad ska man ta? Breathe? Anime, playground, journey, despise, vacation, marshmallow, pure, cage, misfortune, rain cloud. Breathe. Breathe pure. Twirl whispers, suicide games, determination, judgment, daydream, headphones, extraordinary sweet. Vissa av de här orden var med förra gången också. Whisper. Okej, det är kawaii. Ja. Party poof. Poof. Ribbon empty family vanilla eternity tragedy. Poof tog vi förra gången. Ribbon. Ta kawaii, det är ett coolt ord. Questions, tear, play, vivacious, memories, anger, adventure, secretive, crimson, jumpy. Memories. Heartbeat, fluffy. Dance, parfait, uncontrollable, amazing, doki doki, pleasure, treasure, flying. Pleasure. Vibrant rose, silly, lucky, scars, atone, wonderful, misery, anxiety, vitality. Tone. Romance, feather, wrath, dream, dazzle, hair, excitement, bliss, time, and promise. Promise är bra ord. Cute, electricity, hop, hope, meager embrace, whistle, strawberry, portrait, heart. Hope. Ocean, childhood, colored cheeks, nibble the sound, vivid, tenacious, disoriented, imagination. Universe, climax, cloud, depression, landscape, marriage, candy, awesome, shopping, forgive. Jag kommer inte ihåg vad vi har tagit hittills. Men... forgive blir bra. After image, det tog vi förra gången, va? Kiss, kitty, hopeless, sticky, unrestrained, blanket, philosophy, email, waterfall. Unrestrained. Variance, fireworks, fester, sensation, lust, agonizing, extreme, density, destiny, fickle, destiny. Hurt, alone, horror, raindrop, skirt, unending, peaceful, fireflies. Skirt, för det passar inte med något annat vi har tagit, tror jag. Effulgent, giggle, smile, milk, defeat, sing, passion, socks, insight, and disarray. Disarray. Unrequited. Disarray, var inte det någon karaktär i South Park? Unrequited, unstable, flower, incapable, graveyard, sparkle, swimsuit, mouse, explode, and desire. Incapable. Lipstick, aura, spinning, beauty, peace, death. Ambient, dark, papa, shame, aura. Chocolate, loud, melancholy, fear, music, covet, love, prayer, calm, existence. Calm, inte calm. Music. Comfort, disaster, sunset, grief, happiness, jump. Massacre, sunny, incongruent och skipping. Comfort. Rainbow bunny, flea pink, bubble sadness, frightening valentine, nature, precious. Valentine. Time for the club meeting. Looks like you're in a good mood today. Still not used to you being in the club, that's all. Pretty simple thing to get you in a good mood. But I guess it's always the simple things with you anyway. Speaking of which, I'm kinda hungry. Will you come with me to buy a snack? No thanks. Huh? That's not like you at all. I have my reasons. Why don't we take a look at your purse, Sayori? Why that all of a sudden? No reason really, I just wanted to look at it. Retrieves her coin purse, fumbles with the latch and gets it open. Then she turns it upside down and lets its contents spill onto the desk. Only 2 small coins fall out. I knew it. I can see right through you, Sayori. That's not fair. How did you even know? It's simple. If you had enough money in the first place, you would have bought a snack before coming to the club room. So either you're not hungry and more than an excuse to walk away, or you plan to conveniently forget that you spent all your money so that I would lend you some. But there's one more thing. You're always hungry. And so that only leaves the one option. I give up. Don't make me feel guilty. If you feel guilty, that means you deserve to feel guilty. Aha! Yuri suddenly giggles. I didn't notice she was listening in. Her face is in the books as always. I wasn't listening or anything, it was something in my book. Tells it yes to let me borrow some money. Don't get me involved like that, Sayori. Besides, you should only buy what you can responsibly afford. And frankly, after pulling a mischievous little stunt like that, your suffering is fair enough retribution. I didn't mean that. I got too absorbed into my book. I really like it when you speak your mind, Yuri. It doesn't happen much, but it's a fun side of you. There's no way you could think that. You were right, though. I did something bad and now I have to accept the revolution. Retribution. That. Still coming from you, Sayori. I guess there's a little devil inside all of us, isn't there? Don't let her fool you. Sayori knows exactly what she's doing. After all, she told you guys she was bringing me to the club before she even told me. But you wouldn't have come if it weren't for the cupcakes. So I had to trick Natsuki into making them. Come on, give me more credit on that, Sayori. Out of nowhere, something smacks Sayori in the face and tumbles onto the desk. Whap! Ow. Oops. A cookie? Sure enough, it's a giant cookie wrapped in plastic. Sayori glances around. Is this a miracle? Is it because I paid my restitution? Retribution. Actually, that one almost worked. I was just gonna give it to you. But then I heard you blab about the cupcakes. It was totally worth seeing your reaction though. That's so nice of you. I'm so happy. Sayori hugs the cookie. Jeez, just eat it. Sayori rapidly opens the wrapper and takes a big bite. So good. Sayori suddenly clasps her hands over her mouth. I bit my tongue. You're going through a lot over just one cookie. Natsuki takes a bite of her own cookie. Ah, yours looks really good too, Natsuki. Can I try it? Jeez, beggars can't be choosers. But yours is chocolate. Yeah, why do you think I gave you this one? Fine. Still, I'm really happy that you shared this one with me. Sayori gets out of her seat and goes behind Natsuki, then wraps her arms around her. Oh, jeez. I get it. Cookie still in hand. Natsuki reaches up to nudge Sayori off of her. Sayori suddenly leans down and takes a bite out of Natsuki's cookie. Hey, did you seriously just do that? Mm-hmm. Mouthful, Sayori trots away to safety. Yuri and I laugh as well. Jeez, you're such a kid sometimes. Monica, can you tell Sayori? Natsuki glances around. Monica is not in the club room. Where is Monica anyway? Good question. Have any of you heard anything about her being late today? Hope she's okay. She probably just had something to do today. Popular after all. You don't think she has a... I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably more desirable than all of us combined. And that's true. Excuse me. Suddenly the door swings open. Sorry, I'm super sorry. I didn't mean to be late. Hope you guys weren't worried or anything. Monica chose the club over her boyfriend after all? You're so strong-willed. Boyfriend? What on earth are you talking about? Monica quizzically glances at me. Never mind that. What held you up anyway? Well, my last period today was study hall. To be honest, I kinda lost track of time. That makes no sense though. You could have heard the bell ring at least. I must not have heard it since I was practicing piano. Piano? I wasn't aware you played music as well, Monica. Well, I don't really. Just kinda started recently. Always wanted to learn piano. That's so cool. You should play something for us, Monica. Maybe once I get a little bit better, I will. I'd look forward to it. In that case, I won't let you down, CTS. Monica smiles sweetly. I didn't mean any pressure or anything like that. Don't worry, I've been practicing a whole lot recently. And I love the chance to share once I'm ready. No, not really. I chose to leave out Sayori's mischievous escapade. I'm sure Natsuki will end up complaining to her anyway. It looks like everyone has settled down. Sayori somehow finished her entire cookie. Alltså hur stora är de här kakorna? Det tar väl inte så lång tid att äta en kaka, eller? Kolla på några sekunder. Yuri's back to her book and Natsuki disappeared into the closet. I suddenly noticed Yuri's reading a different book from the one we've been reading together. If that's the case, why don't we go ahead and get started? I have a request. Do you mind if I make some tea first? There's one thing that can make my reading time here in the better. It's a nice cup of tea. Not to mention for yourself as well. Yuri stands up and makes her way to the closet. I follow and watch as he retrieves a small water pitcher from the shelf. Can you hold this for a second? Yuri hands me the water pitcher and fetches an electric kettle. I'm going to plug this in at the teacher's desk and then we'll get some water. I simply watch her movements. To my surprise, the way she moves really contrasts with her speaking mannerisms, especially because of her long legs. Yuri appears elegant and methodical. Okay, may I have the water pitcher? Thanks, I'll be right back. Might as well walk with you. Yeah, why not? Shall we go then? Where are you two off to? We just go to make some tea, so... I suddenly realize how weird it sounds to explain this to Monica. Fill in the water pitcher. So I was just a bit curious. That's kind of a one-person job, isn't it? Monica, please mind your own business for once. Or do you want to tell me there's something wrong with helping involve CTS in club activities? My mouth gapes. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. Then let's go, CTS. Yuri quickly exits the room and I follow. Once in the hallway, she suddenly puts her forehead against the wall. I spoke without thinking. How could I say something like that? Something about the way she said that makes me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me? I think you did the right thing. I wasn't expecting it, but it's also not right for Monica to judge people like that. How come even when I do something bad, you're being nice to me? Because nothing that you do is as bad as you make it seem in your head. Nobody's perfect. We have emotions, and we can't always hide them away. But you always amplify things in your head. Your mind turns a little rain shower into a hurricane. No. Wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that? Why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? Friend, you say? Jura lifts her head. CTS? I really like being friends with you. Thanks, Jury. I like being friends with you too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that, but I'm doing my best to help Yuri feel better. Tjena Beerman! Läget? Vi spelar Doki Literature Club Plus. Det är ett skräckspel. Men jag tror inte vi har kommit riktigt dit än. Lite så här, vad heter det? Visual novel. Skulle tydligen vara bra, har jag hört. Shall we go? Nu ska vi... Jure and I walk to the nearest water fountain. Once we fill up the water pitcher, we return to the classroom. Jag har gått med i en litteraturklubb. Så får vi se vad som händer då. Läget är fint. Ledig dag idag. Dang. Vill du dela med dig eller? Jag vill också vara ledig. CTS, do you like oolong tea? Oh yeah. Anything is fine. Yuri set the temperature on the kettle to 200 degrees. Now it's time to get the teapot. You really do this properly, don't you? Jag delas inte med någonting. Attans, så får jag gå till jobbet idag med då. I shouldn't do any less when I'm making tea for others. In that case, you'd only be more impressed. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. To my surprise, she even starts humming a little to herself. You must be in a good mood now. Is that so? I was letting it show, and you noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking, and I decided I would try expressing myself a little bit more. It turns out it's not very hard for me to do, when it's you who's around anyway. That's great, Yuri. Just don't push yourself too much. You're always worrying about me, CTS. It's very endearing. Yuri wasn't kidding. I don't even know if I can help keep up with this. I watched Yuri pour a cup of tea for each of us. CTS, I have another request. Do you mind if we sit on the floor today? Why's that? It's a little bit easier on my back. I can read with my back against the wall rather than bending over at my desk. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. I just have back pain fairly regularly, so I do my best to manage it. I wonder why that is. Is it most likely because my your posture, right? Always hunched over like that while reading? Yes, I have terrible reading posture. So that's why we should sit on the floor. Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. I retrieve the book from my bag, Ah, I have some chocolate as well. It's a bag of small chocolate candies that I kept hidden from Sayori's candy radar. I take it since it'll go well with the tea. Yuri and I then sit against the wall, teacups at our sides. As if in sync, we assume the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book. Except this time, our bodies are even closer to each other. I can't see too well. Yuri slides closer until our shoulders are touching. How am I supposed to focus on reading like this? Yuri was always kinda cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's almost more than I can handle. Your teacup. Yuri hands me my teacup. Holding it with my hand that's not holding the book, I end up in a position that makes it even harder to focus. Because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest. Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. She wears her intense reading expression, and I can only presume the world around her has faded away. I use all of my willpower to focus on reading. After a few minutes, I finally manage to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumble with the chocolate wrapper. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. That's okay, I won't take any. Are you sure? Well, if I touch it, then it might get smudges on the pages. Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that. My bad. I'll hold the book, okay? You sure? Of course. Yuri opens the book with both hands. She holds it so that I don't have any harder of a time reading from it. But as a result, her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. Well, in that case, Yuri is already totally focused on reading again. I take a chocolate candy and pop it into my mouth. Then I take another chocolate and I hold it up to Yuri. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips as if this situation was completely normal. But that means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate in her mouth. Just like that, Yuri closes her lips over it. Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. Did I just... Yuri looks at me like she needs to confirm what just happened. CTS. Sorry, guess I shouldn't have done that. That's well, you were just helping. That's something that friends do, right? I mean, not really in this kind of context, but yeah, that's all it was. Yeah. Then, you don't need to stop or anything. I see. The situation has got really tense. Yuri tries to return to the book, but I can tell just by her expression that even she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I nervously take another chocolate between my fingers. But this time, Yuri's eyes meets mine. How did it even come to this? Yuri doesn't avert her gaze. I notice her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of her breaths. I raise my arm. Yuri parts her lips. But it's different this time. I take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath on my fingers. Okay, everyone! What? Yuri jolts back. It's time to share poems. CTS, you can help Yuri put away the tea stuff, right? The spell is abruptly broken. I'll take care of the cups. Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. In the end, we hastily clean up without so much as a word between us. I get the feeling this is something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. börjar med Natsuki då först, för hon är gnärdigast. Well, it's not really any worse than your last one. But I can't really say it's any better either. Huh? Phew, what? Well, anything that isn't a train wreck, I'll take as a win. And I get the feeling you're probably the most critical. Hey, what makes... Wait, maybe that was a compliment? Aha! Glad to see someone recognize my experience. Well then, keep practicing and maybe you'll be as good as me someday. That's, something tells me Natsuki completely missed the point. Bara se vad det var för meddelanden som kom. Nej, det behöver inte bli så. Come to think of it, this kind of reminds me of Sayori's poem from yesterday. You think so? Yeah, well, I guess if you've been friends with her for so long, you might be on the same wavelength. But you never really struck me as her type. Sayori has a type all of a sudden? Well, I don't know. But honestly, how can someone so fluffy spend so much time with someone like you? It's like she's dragging around the dead weight. That was a little unnecessary. But think of it this way. If it weren't for me, she would probably just fly away like letting go of a balloon. You could say we each take care of each other in our own way. Whatever it is, I don't get it. Oh yeah. I guess I'm supposed to show you my poem. Here. Amy likes spiders. You know what I heard about Amy? Amy likes spiders. Icky, wriggly, hairy, ugly spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a cute singing voice. I heard her singing my favorite love song. Every time she sang the chorus, my heart would pound to the rhythm of the words. But she likes spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. One time, I hurt my leg really bad. Amy helped me up and took me to the nurse. I tried not to let her touch me. She likes spiders, so her hands are probably gross. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a lot of friends. I always see her talking to people. She probably talks about spiders. What if her friend starts to like spiders too? That's why I'm not friends with her. It doesn't matter if she has other hobbies. It doesn't matter if she keeps it in private. It doesn't matter if it doesn't hurt anyone. It's gross. She's gross. The world is better off without spider lovers. And I'm gonna tell everyone. Du tror att Amy gillar spindlar? Tror jag också. Not bad, right? Quite a bit longer than yesterday's. Yesterday's was too short. I was just warming up. Anyway, the message is pretty straightforward in this poem. I doubt I have to explain it. Sometimes you can explain complicated issues with much simpler analogies, and it helps people realize how stupid they're being. Like anyone would agree with the subject of this poem is an ignorant jerk. Do you know people like that? Of course. It's about how everyone thinks That doesn't matter. It can be about anything. I wrote it to be easy to relate to. Everyone has some kind of weird hobby or a guilty pleasure. Something that you're afraid if people find out they'd make fun of you or think less of you. But that just makes people stupid. Who cares what someone likes? As long as they're not hurting anyone and it makes them happy. I think people really need to learn to respect others for liking weird things. Well, you're definitely right. At least I can relate to that. And I'm sure a lot of other people can too. It's what I do best after all. I don't like writing unless there's a good message to take away from it. Like conveying emotions is important, but I want to make people think, not just feel. Remember that. I'm gonna write a good one for tomorrow too, so look forward to it. Hi again, CTS. How's the writing going? Alright, I guess. I'll take that, as long as it's not going bad. I'm happy that you applied yourself. Maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece. I wouldn't count on that. You never know. Want to share what you wrote for today? Sure, here you go. I'll give my poem to Monica. Alright, this one's good. It feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in your writing style? I guess so. You can't deny that she's talented. Yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most romantic. That's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. Sadly, it's hard to get much personal conversation out of her. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on in that head of hers? I hope you don't mean it in a bad way. No, of course not. I just meant that I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. But still, defending her like that, you must be pretty into her. Huh? You completely misunderstood. Calm down, I'm kidding. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend. Wait, what, really? Yeah, a fictional one anyway. Monica kind of whispers that last part to me. It's just a hunch, but... well, there's not really anything wrong with that. Well, I know. I was just saying... but anyway, you want to read my poem now? I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. Okay, save me. The colors, they won't stop. Bright, beautiful colors. Flashing, expanding, piercing, red, green, blue. An endless cacophony of meaningless noise. The noise, it won't stop. Violent, grating waveforms. Squeaking, screeching, piercing, cosine tangent. Like playing a chalkboard on a turntable. Like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust. An endless poem of meaningless. Load me. What the fuck? Okay. It's even more abstract than your last one, huh? I guess it's just the way I write. Sorry if you don't like it. It's just the kind of thing I've never really seen before, I guess. I kind of like playing with my space on the paper. Choosing where and how to space a word can totally change the mood of the poem. It's almost like magic. The way I wrote the lines, really short, makes it feel like they're going to speak over the noise. It's still hard for me to tell what it's about, though. Sometimes asking what a poem is about isn't the right question. A poem can be as abstract as a physical expression of a feeling, or a conversation with the reader. So putting it that way, not every poem is about something. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you find yourself facing a difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. You never know when you might change your mind. Or when something unexpected might happen. Wait, is this tip even about writing? What am I even talking about? That's my advice for today. Det är nog dags att spara, det var länge sedan. Så. Då pratar med de sista här så får vi nog stänga av sen. I like this one, CTS. It has some nice feelings in it. Does it mean it's better than yesterday's? Let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both. That's not very helpful, you know? Well, I'm not very good at figuring out if poems are good or bad, but that's why I just go by my heart. If it makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Then again, I guess conveying feelings is a pretty important part of this whole thing. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, I don't even know what kind of writing you like in the first place. Yeah, me neither. Why don't you at least try giving it some thought? Oh, you wanted to write something for me? That's so sweet. Yeah, right. But you're always thinking about other people. You need to think about yourself once in a while. If you don't, you might end up getting hurt at some point. Well, I don't really know what you mean, but I'll try to keep it in mind. Anyway, let's see. I guess I like happy poems. Wait, sometimes I like sad poems too. Sometimes a little bit of both. Is there a word for that, right? What's the word I'm looking for? Bittersweet. Yeah. I like things that are happy and things that are sad. Happy and sad? I can't see you liking something sad, Sayori. Well, I like happy the most. But sometimes when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little hug and make it a nice happy rainbow. Sayori, that is unexpectedly poetic. Maybe I'm getting better at expressing my feelings after all. Thanks, CTS. I should go write that down then. You can read my poem now, okay? Oh boy, that was long one. Bottles. I pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. It's the secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little balls of sunshine all rubbing together like a bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly. But there's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe. And I put the bottle on the shelf with all the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in bottles all in a row. My collection makes me lots of friends. Each bottle a starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friends feels a certain way. Down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams. Friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go, like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets, hiding in the nooks and crannies. Digging and digging, scraping and scraping. I blow dust off my bottle caps. It doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally all done, I open up and in come my friends. In they come, in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? Frantically pull them from the shelf, one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle. But every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in shards all over the floor. They were supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading something, but all I hear is echo, 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 inside my head. Holy crap. Sayori, did you really write this? Of course I did. Didn't I tell you yesterday I was gonna write the best poem ever? I didn't mean it. I didn't expect something like this coming from you. Monica taught me a whole lot. And I've been in touch with my feelings recently. I see that. It's almost kind of creepy. Creepy? Maybe because I'm so used to you being cheerful. Well, never mind. I'm thinking too hard about it. The point is, it came out good, so you should be proud of it. I feel like I was meant to express myself this way. It even helps me understand my own feelings a bit better. Writing is like magic. Writing is the best. I'm gonna keep writing till I die. Sayori's always have a habit of getting obsessed with something before dropping it no more than a week later. I wonder if this is one of those times, but seeing the passion in her eyes makes it hard for me to be pessimistic. But you're required. Let me see what you've written for today. Yuri stares at the poem with a surprised expression on her face. Do you like it? CTS. This one might be even better than yesterday's. How did you even pick up on this so quickly? Just yesterday I was telling you the kind of techniques worth practicing. Maybe that's why? You did a good job explaining? I really wanted to try giving it more imagery. Yuri visibly swallows. Even her hands appear sweaty. I'm not used to this. Used to what? I don't know. It's fine. Take your time. Yuri breathes and collects her thoughts. I know that Yuri likes to think before she speaks, so I offer that patience to her. Yeah, just being appreciated like this, I guess. Probably sounds really stupid, but seeing someone motivated by my writing, it just makes me really happy. Are you saying you never shared your writing before? Yuri nods. Really? I don't believe it. I really only write for myself, and besides, people would just laugh at me. You really think that? Again, Yuri nods. Huh. Even your close friends? Yuri doesn't respond to that. I wonder why. Anyway, do you want to share the poem you wrote today? Yeah, I do. If it's with you. The Raccoon. It happened in the dead of night while I was slicing bread for a guilty snack. My attention was caught by the scuttering of a raccoon outside my window. That was, I believe, the first time I noticed my strange tendencies as an unordinary human. I gave the raccoon a piece of bread, my subconscious well aware of the consequences. Well aware that a raccoon that is fed will always come back for more. The enticing beauty of my cutting knife was the symptom. The bread, my hungry curiosity. The raccoon, an urge. The moon increments its face and reflects that much more light off of my cutting knife. The very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread, fresh and soft. The raccoon becomes excited. Or perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon has taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Every time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows me its excitement. A rush of blood, classic Pavlovian conditioning. I slice the bread, and I feed myself again. I was a little more daring with this ones than yesterday's. I can see that. It's a lot more metaphorical. I don't know if it's my fault, but I can't begin to imagine what this poem is about. That's right, it's a bit closer to my preferred writing style. Using the poem as a canvas to express vivid imagery and conveying emotions through them. Yeah, if I take it at face value, then I can't even figure out what it's supposed to mean. Well, I think it's something that different people can relate to in their own way. I wanted to express the way it feels for me to indulge in my more unusual hobbies. It's those sort of things I'm usually forced to keep to myself. So I sometimes enjoy writing about them. That's funny. Didn't Natsuko also write something about that? About someone being ridiculed for a strange interest? She did? Yeah. She was talking about how it doesn't matter what you're into as long as you're not hurting anyone. She's right. I mean, does she really feel that way? Yeah. Sounds like you two have that in common. That's interesting. To me, she seemed like the kind of person who would make fun of my hobbies. But I suppose that's my fault for judging, isn't it? Please don't tell her I said that. Don't worry, I have no reason to. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing with me. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my own weirdness, I would probably hate myself. I might be ranting a little bit now, but I'm glad that you're a good listener. You're good on a lot of things. Writing, listening. There really aren't many people like you, CTS. That's exaggerating a little bit. It's just how I feel. I never thought I would feel so comfortable sharing my writing, but now I almost feel like I'm looking forward to it. It's just a really nice feeling, and you're to thank for that. It's nothing really. Yuri smiles sincerely at me. For just a moment her timidness seems to disappear. Okay everyone, we're all done reading each other's poem, right? I have something extra planned today, so if everyone could come and sit at the front of the room. Is it about the festival? Well, sort of. Yeah, do we really have to do something for the festival? It's not like we can put together anything good in just a few days. We just end up embarrassing ourselves instead of getting any new members. That's a concern of mine as well. I don't really do well with last minute preparations. Don't worry so much. We're going to keep it simple, okay? We don't need much more than a few decorations. Sayori has been working on posters, and I've designed some pamphlets we can give out during the event. Oh, well, look at that's great and all, but that doesn't tell us what we're actually going to be doing for the event. Sorry, I thought you heard about it already. We're going to be performing. Performing? Monica? Yeah, we're going to be having poetry performance. Each of us are going to choose a poem to recite during the event. But the cool part is, we're also going to let anyone else come up and recite poems too. Sayori's putting it all on the posters in case anyone wants to prepare ahead of time. Sayori, who's been coloring a poster, holds it up for us to see. Are you kidding me, Monica? You didn't already start putting those posters up, did you? Well, I did. You really think it's that bad of an idea? Well, no. It's not a bad idea, but I didn't sign up for this, you know? There is no way I'm going to be performing in front of a group of people like that. I agree with Natsuki. I could never in my life do something like that. Imagine it. Yuri shakes her head in fear. Guys! No, Sayori. I understand where they're coming from. Remember that Natsuki and Yuri have never shared their poems with anyone until just a couple of days ago. It's a lot to ask for them to recite their poems out loud to a whole room full of people. I guess I kinda overlooked that, so I'm sorry. But I still think we should give it our best. We're the only ones responsible for the fate of this club. If we start the event and each put on a good performance, then it will inspire others to do the same. And the more people who perform, the better we'll be able to show everyone what literature is all about. Being intimate with yourself, finding new horizons, having fun. That's right. And it's those reasons that we're all in this club today. Don't you want to share that with others? To inspire them to find the same feelings that brought you here in the first place? I know you do. I know we all do. And if it all takes is standing in front of the room for 2 minutes and reciting a poem, then I know you can do it. Natsuki and Yuri remain silent. Sayori looks worried. I guess that leaves me no choice. I agree. I don't think it's too much to ask. I think that Sayori and Monica have been trying really hard to get new members. The least we can do is help them out a little bit. Well, maybe, but it looks like Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Okay, fine. I guess I just have to get it over with. Alright. Phew. Thanks, Natsuki. What about you, Yuri? Yuri dejectedly glances around at everyone else's expectant faces. I guess I don't have a choice. Ah, haha, that's everyone. You're the best, Yuri. This club is seriously going to be the death of me. Oh gosh. You'll be fine, Yuri. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. I want each of you to choose a poem of yours. We go to practice reciting them in front of each other. No way! Monica, this is too sudden. But if you can't recite your poem in front of the club, how do you expect to do it in front of strangers? Don't worry, I'll start off to help everyone feel a little more comfortable. Can I go next? Of course. Now let's see. Monica flips through her notebook to the specific poem she had in mind for herself. Then she stands behind the podium. This title of this poem is The Way They Fly. Monica begins reciting her poem. Her clear, confident voice fills the room. More than that, her inflection is pristine. She knows exactly how to apply emotion behind each line she recites, bringing the words to life. Is this something she's done before, or is she simply a natural? I glance around me. Everyone has their eye on Monica. Sayori looks amazed. Yuri has an intense expression on her face that I don't understand. Finally, Monica finishes the recitation. The four of us applaud. Monica takes a breath and smiles. That was so good, Monica. Thank you very much. I was hoping to set a good example. Are you ready to go next, Sayori? I'll go next. Huh? Yuri's fired up all of a sudden. Yuri clutches a sheet of paper between her hands and stands up. Keeping her head down, she walks quietly over to the podium. This poem is called... Yuri anxiously glances at each of us. You can do it, Yuri. It's called After Image of a Crimson Eye. Yuri's voice shakes as she starts reading the poem. Just a moment ago, she practically refused to do this. Why is she suddenly putting in so much effort? As Yuri gets past the first couple of lines, her voice changes. It's almost like what happened when Yuri got absorbed into her books. Her quivering words transform into the sharp syllables of a fierce and confident woman. The poem is full of twists and turns in its structure that she enunciates with perfect timing. This must be a rare glimpse into the whirling fire Yuri keeps concealed inside her head. Suddenly she finished. Everyone is stunned. Yuri snaps back into her head and glances around her as she's bewildered even herself. It's up to me to save this situation. I'm the first to start applauding. Everyone joins me afterward and we give Yuri the recognition she deserves. It's not that we didn't want to applaud for her, but we were caught so off guard that we must have forgotten. As we applaud, Yuri holds the poem to her chest and rushes back into her seat. När började läskiga? Det vet jag inte, du. Ingen aning. Jag vill förlänga en save här. Vi gör 2 saves. För nu måste jag stänga av och gå och jobba. Vad händer? Men vi fortsätter väl imorgon om inget annat händer. Så får vi se när det läskiga dyker upp. Dyker det inte upp så har vi ju åtminstone spelat ett visual novel-spel på stream i alla fall. Så det blir nog win-win i vilket fall. Skulle jag tro. Får ha en trevlig ledig dag, Bearman, och ni andra får hitta på något kul. Så ses vi nästa gång. Tack och hej!